Yeah.
All hands man your battle stations.
Broadcasting live on WNN 1470 AM, 95.3 FM, iHeartRadio, and the World Wide Web. This is Make America Think Again with your Google blacklisted host, Tom Trento.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. No, Will Robinson. Danger.
Live on 1470 AM, 95.3 FM, iHeartRadio, and the World Wide Web. This is Make America Think Again with your Google blacklisted host, Tom Trento.
I'm hearing all kinds of. All right. Monday morning. All right. Here we go. In 21 days, Americans will go to the polls on November 3rd and elect a man that will lead the country for the next 4 years. It's in 21 days. If you are among those who have not made up your mind as to which man, which party, which ideology, which philosophy, which approach to life you have chosen, I want you to consider this thought. One of these men, Donald J. Trump, he believes that America is a good country. Sure, look, nothing's perfect. Country's got a few problems here and there. But overall, compared to the other 195 countries, Donald Trump believes that America is not only good, it is the best country. And you know, because Donald Trump bleeds red, white, and blue, he loves this country. He's giving everything he has to support this country. He's left a life of splendor, of luxury, of kinghood in many respects, of fame, of wealth, simply to lead the country he loves because he believes it is a good country. And when we talk about America being a good country, we're talking about the America that was designed in the battleground of Philadelphia at Independence Hall, with men arguing back and forth for months, for years, in fact, to come up with a way in which they would construct a civilized group of people, providing freedom and opportunity and ensuring that these inherent, inalienable, God-given rights would not be infringed upon by the state. That's the kind of America Donald Trump believes in, and he believes it's a good country. Conversely, the other individual running for President of the United States, in 21 days you'll be voting. This individual is managed. He's managed by a party. Critically important to understand the concept of being managed by a party. Everyone would agree nobody manages Donald Trump. We have an inherently unmanageable individual who loves this country and believes it's good. Conversely, we have in Joe Biden, 47 years in government in the United States, now in a compromised mental condition. He is being managed by a party that inherently believes the United States is bad. Voters of America, you can't get two more diametrically opposed positions. Joe Biden is managed by the Democrat Party, led by, which is growing each and every day. The United States is bad. Inherently, Joe Biden is being managed by this party, led by more and more each day, led by the Marxist branch within the party, to deconstruct for a whole variety of ways and methodologies, to deconstruct this 244-year-old enterprise that people from every country want to come to and live in it. That country needs to be deconstructed and reimagined. You hear that word a lot now. And refocused and rebuilt in the image, clearly, of Karl Marx. He's the ideological force behind the party that's managing Joe Biden. And we all know soon after, if he wins, soon after, he will become a figurehead. Kamala Harris will become the leader of that party, and she inherently believes that the country is bad, is evil, and needs to be changed. So in 21 days, Americans have a choice to vote for a guy who inherently loves the country and believes it's good, or to vote for a guy who inherently is being managed by a party who hates this country and believes it needs to be changed. The choice is all yours. You have to vote intelligently, but vote recognizing that your family, your loved ones, your heritage, your legacy, your children will have to live with your decision on November 3rd, 2020. Susie Gold, happy Columbus Day.
Happy Columbus Day. Good morning, Tom. Good morning, everybody. That was a very profound opening.
You've had many Jewish holidays.
A
over
lot
the
of
past
Jewish
couple weeks.
holidays.
We got ours today, we Italians. We got Columbus. And we have a paisan in here watching the show in the studio with us, our buddy Anthony, who's come with us to Israel and everything.
Yeah.
So we got a lot going on. It's going to be a very quickly paced show today. What do we have? Why don't you give him a little...
Yeah, so we have Frank Coconate coming on. You're going to love him.
You're gonna love
Everybody's got to hang on and listen to Frank Coconate, a nice Italian guy who, you know what, sometimes it's just actually oftentimes it's everyday people who take on a cause, and then it becomes this phenomenon that becomes national, maybe even international. Frank Coconate, who's a really nice Italian guy, and he's they wanted to take down the Columbus statue that's in New York, right on Columbus Circle. And he's like, that ain't happening. Columbus, we need to remember what happened with Christopher Columbus, and we need to know our history and not erase history. So he took that cause on. So we're going to hear about him and his efforts. And then we have a wonderful leader, a woman who spearheaded, who founded and is president of Women Impacting the Nation. That's Sue Trombino. So we have a great show, and we have other surprises coming.
Michelle,
also.
I think, is coming on later.
We have Michelle Terris, who is the founder of Jexit. Love her. You're going to love hearing from her. So we have a great show ahead.
All right, let's do this as we get going here on a Monday morning. We need 3 hours.
We do. We need money.
Tom,
we need money.
Please
click on that donate button. We really, today we came in and we didn't have internet, and Mark works his magic here to just get things working but you have no idea what inferior equipment that he's working with. And we have so much important work to do. We really need your donations so that we can get everything, get it is what it is that we need technologically, so that we can continue the programming and just pay our bills. We got to pay the light bill. I think that's due.
Come on. I'm in a very good mood. Let me get through the show. Talk about that stuff afterwards.
Okay.
Light bills. But we have, this is October 12th, 2020, big day. 9:12 in the morning. Tom Trento, your host, with Susie Gold right here next to me, my co-host, who's you're doing a fabulous job.
Thank you. I learned everything from you.
The people say, she softens you, Tom. She has such a good perspective. She knows so much. Go ahead, you take the show.
I didn't know that.
Yours.
You didn't tell me that.
She increases the beauty by 33%. That's for damn.
There you go. Go for it.
Nobody told me
you
that.
Can know. We got to get you up to speed, and I can take a break once in a while.
No, you can never take a break. I don't think you sleep.
Well, on this WNN 1470 on the AM side, 95.3. I was driving Friday to Naples, Barry and I, in West 1. West 1 was heading west, actually, and we were listening to the show because we taped it earlier, the day earlier.
Right.
That's why we had the same clothes on, if you're watching. We weren't here all night. And the signal from 1470 went about halfway across the alley. Yeah. So the alligators and the boa constrictors and the deer and everything else could hear the show quite well. Then it started fading a little bit about halfway across the state, which is a phenomenal 50,000 watt signal. And Barry has in West One, he has internet capability. So he switched over to the internet. We went on iHeart, and we had a perfectly clear signal all the way across the alley on WNN 1470 on the iHeart side. So tune in on iHeart. You can watch the show on theunitedwest.org. Do not believe all the warnings that you get when you come to our website. It's just big tech screwing with us. They have shut us off so many different ways.
Oh, by the way, if you're still getting those, let me know, because I think I've gotten rid of most of them.
Yeah,
I've had to go argue with a whole bunch of tech, and it's a real pain in the butt to figure out who it is to talk to in these tech companies after they shut you off.
Of course.
And then you eventually get to the end of it, and you go, oh, you guys shouldn't be shut off.
Yeah.
Okay, they push a little button. So we went over. We had a great time with Mary Waller and the Republican Women's Club of Naples. About 80 to 100 women there, and wonderful. I mean, these were jazzed up women, pro-Trump women all over the place. And I basically delivered a message on the spiritual battle for America. But I said, I got two women I want to introduce you to. I brought two women with me that I'd like to introduce you to during my time here at the podium. I said one is, let me look carefully here. One is, I'm looking at my notes. One of the ladies is, let me get that right. One of the ladies is 200 years old. And the other one is, let me look at my notes. The other one is 3,000 years old. So, and they're looking at me like, what is he talking about? And so I delivered a presentation on the spiritual battle, the Marxists and the jihadis joining force in Florida against Donald Trump, against conservative Jews and Christians. This being the key battleground, our task mobilizing 1,000,001 evangelicals. Critically important to do that. And then at the end, I introduced them to a 200-year-old woman who, I won't go into all the details here, maybe we'll put the thing up online, who was an activist of her day, fought for the 13th Amendment, the 14th Amendment, 15th Amendment, and missed out on the 19th Amendment. But the 13th Amendment abolished slavery. She was an abolitionist. And she took the 14th Amendment, which further strengthened the 13th Amendment, which got rid of slavery, but it identified Negroes as persons, and the persons have the right to vote. So she argued in 1873 in August that reading by the 14th Amendment, a person in the United States has the right to vote. Anybody want to argue that I am not a person, said Susan B. Anthony? Anybody in here? Judge said, boom, guilty. You're not supposed to vote. $100 fine. Threw her out. She said, I'm not leaving. She delivers a phenomenal speech arguing that women are persons, according to the 14th Amendment, should have the right to vote. Well, it took the 15th, the 16th, the 17th, the 18th. The 18th, by the way, was no booze, no booze. Shut down the distilleries. And then in 1920, 100 years after she was born, the 19th Amendment was passed, and women's suffrage is a Latin term, suffragium, which means to vote, simply means to vote. Women got their right to vote, and she was already dead. But 100 years after women got the right to vote, in August of 2020, 200 years after she was born, somebody pardoned Susan B. Anthony. Full pardon, because she was still guilty on the books of voting in November of 1973. And she was fully pardoned August of 2020 by President Donald J. Trump. He pardoned her.
Yay.
So, and I said to these ladies, you have two examples. And then I read the 3,000-year-old woman out of Proverbs 31, the perfect woman. I said, you have a biblical woman here who fulfills all these obligations and responsibilities, fused with the activist of the 18th century, 17th century, 18th century. And that's the picture of the woman we need fighting this battle, even after November 3rd, because we know the insane crazies are not going away after November 3rd. Don't we know that, Frank Coconate? Don't we know these crazies aren't going away? How you doing, Frank? You got to hit your mute button. Your button, Frank. Got to hit your button. Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
How about now?
Ah, there you go. There
we
you go.
Frank Coconati.
How are you? Good morning.
Good.
Good morning, Frank.
We're good here. This is Susie Gold. I don't know if you
Hey,
met
we
Susie
spoke
yet.
on the phone, and then we had you on last week briefly.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Oh,
right. You
yeah.
were on for a little bit last week.
Mhm.
Hey, Frank. Today is Columbus Day, 9:19 East Coast time, 8:19 where you are in Chicago, where I used to live. Great city, bad government, but a wonderful city. And sometimes these cities flourish in spite of their crazy governments. I first ran across you when the statues of Christopher Columbus were being torn down different parts of America, and your wonderful mayor, Lori Lightfoot, in the dead of the night went and took the statue down. It was in Grant Park, wasn't it?
Correct. Well,
Yeah.
there was a couple. There was one in Little Italy on Taylor Street. There's one on the south side, which used to be an Italian settlement years ago, a beautiful statue by the steel mills. And then the one downtown. She took them all down.
You took them all down. All right, you're watching all that go on. You're an Italian guy, Coconati. I think that's
Yes,
an Italian name,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Very proud Italian.
There we go. Who is it? What Italian is it?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, we got some in Chicago that they're really agitating me, but you can't change people. You can lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink.
Yeah. When you saw what Lori Lightfoot was doing, and she's just out of control, she's a nutcase. I mean, South Chicago, we all know. What did you think was going on, and what did you feel your responsibility should be at that point?
Well, Tom, first of all, it's not just Lori Lightfoot. We have 10 elected socialist aldermen in the city council that are just constantly badgering American history, calling us all white racist, calling us all, we Italian Americans especially, that we performed genocide against the Indians, that we promoted slavery, and we have no leadership here to stand up, and we have no opportunity to respond to the mayor, Lightfoot, and these 10 aldermen, namely an Alderman Rosa and an Italian who they're using as their puppet, this Alderman La Spada, who I'd like to give a crack in the face if I ever saw him. They're using him to say this statue symbolizes everything wrong in America. That's a huge fight. Today is Columbus Day, right? In Chicago, these anti-Americans have the day off with pay, and they're using the term Indigenous Day. Not Columbus, the day it is by law. They're using Indigenous Day to collect money from us, and I'm livid today, as you can tell. I mean, our leadership just bows down to this. This Italian organizations here, the Italian elected officials, they just sit there dumbfounded and say, Italian pride. Well, where's the Italian pride when you allow this kind of unfair attacks on Columbus?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
and
I'm sorry I went off, but you know what? It's been building. It's been building.
But you then this happened when? Back in when did all of that happen? Well, let's get a date, and then you start speaking up. You had a press conference.
I have to say it was about 2-3 months ago that it really, she started. There was the rioting by the Terris, the Antifa, and Black Lives Matters, and they were just tearing up this city. And I'd say it was after the George Floyd incident with the police. So they started tearing up the city, and the first thing they went after, they started throwing stuff at Columbus and trying to rip them down well, actually they did it across the nation, these animals, these Antifa and Black Lives Matter terrorists. They ripped down these statues. They were ripping apart Chicago. And there was a statue left on Taylor that I ran there right away with a group of people and tried to stop them, which we did. We did stop these, I can't even explain these people, what they are. But anyway, we stopped it. We had a nice speech. We had a nice rally. We thought we could save it. But a week later, a couple weeks later, she went in the middle of the night, which we got tipped off to. We were standing out there till 2-3 in the morning. She came after we left, this snake of a mayor, and she took down the statue. She took it and put it in storage. So now she took down Grant Park, the one on Taylor Street, and there was still one left. So she claimed that she took it down so nobody else gets injured, policemen or otherwise, and to save the statues. About another week later, an alderman in the steel mill area of Chicago, 10th Ward, she wanted her statue done, which nobody knew about. So the mayor said, we're going to take that one down too, which I ran out there and tried to stop them, and to no avail, and they took that one down. So now we have 3 statues. This happened about 2 months ago, around 2 months. They're in storage where she claims she took them down to stop the violence or the attacks on the police and other. But in reality, it didn't stop anything because these Black Lives Matters and Antifa members, terrorists, continue their attack on Chicago, on businesses, looting, breaking business, beating up senior citizens. And so it did nothing. So we pleaded with the mayor to put these statues back because it's not doing anything, your strategy. So she lied. The other day she came out and said, we're still reviewing like they did in Boston and other cities. They say they're reviewing, but they're taking it down.
Yeah, Frank, I mean, there's a lot to go over. And right out front with Christopher Columbus Day, if somebody doesn't like Christopher Columbus or his history, or if they don't like, I don't know, Abraham Lincoln, yesterday in Portland, last night in Portland, Black Lives Matter, Antifa ripped down Abraham Lincoln's statue, ripped it down, and Teddy Roosevelt last night. You know, what is going on, right?
African Americans, Black America, you're with this Black Lives Matter, you're supporting this, and Abraham Lincoln is the only man in history that freed the slavery. It said it was not right and not fair. I mean, these Black Lives Matters are not African Americans and Black Americans. These Black Lives Matter and Antifa are paid terrorists, and we have to wake up. And in Chicago, it's despicable what's going on. And not only, you know what, I give New York a lot of credit. New York has all their statues. New York people say, hey, what are you going to, you know what, if that's what they believe. There's such an air in New York, even though it's a crazy town or what have you. Those statues are all up because the Italian leadership is strong and stands up, as is Philadelphia, which is fighting tooth and nail in Philadelphia today. Fighting tooth and nail to keep. But the point is, I guess I want to make, we're at war. We're at a sophisticated war here in this country. This is all about taking down Trump. These are the Democrats utilizing this hate and this anger to divide us and to get Trump out of office. This is what it's all about. These are evil, evil people. These are people that have no faith in God, have no faith. You look at them, their eyes are like dazed, you know, but it's a real attack. We're at a sophisticated war, right? A civil war. And Columbus is just one example, but it's everything American is wrong now. And it's sad.
Yeah. And I'll make a couple of points underscoring Susie Gold and Mark and Mary and Anthony that's here, underscoring Frank's point. I grew up in Jersey, and I understand the mentality of the Italians in New York and New Jersey. I wore, especially today for Columbus Day, a shirt. It's a very old. That's pretty good. That's good. Now I got to show you my shirt. Are you ready for this? This is one of the reasons why New York, New Jersey. I don't think there's going to be too many Columbus statues being torn down. Let me see if I can turn around in the studio here.
Oh, there we go. Can you read it? The Sopranos.
Yeah, I know. Jersey is having their huge fights, and there's no reason for it. You know, Tom and Anna, right? Or
yeah, that's fine.
Susie,
Betty, right? I'm Tony. But anyway, the problem is, we fought for this holiday, Italian Americans. We fought for this. And they're just taking it away and changing the name on their own, not by law, just changing the name, the Indigenous Day. And just, hurting and insulting us. If they want a day for the Indians or for the slavery and get your own day. Why are you coming to the Italian Americans? And today is not a day of celebration. Today is the day we say this is war, and to stop attacking Italian Americans, and we are going to fight back. I don't know if we try to do it by laws. It does no good. Even Italian leadership, elected officials are afraid to touch this issue because naturally most cities are Democratic. So they're Democrats and they don't want to upset the party right now. They have a focus to take down Trump by any method possible. And they're selling their own race, selling their own.
All right,
race.
here's what we got to do, Frank. Here's what we have to
That's
do.
right.
And for our audience, 9:29 in the morning, East Coast time, 9:29, WNN, Tom Trento, Susie Gold right here with Frank Coconate from Chicago. You're hearing how Frank got involved in this. Then he started getting called to Boston and Philly and New York to help organize the Italians. For the record, Frank, you know this, Philly. For the record, there are 20 million Italian Americans in this country.
Correct.
And if you want to argue Christopher Columbus, good or bad, look, I'll go through the history any day. Nobody's perfect.
No,
he didn't even come to America. He never even got here. He was elsewhere. He opened the Colombian transport, which was now Spain and England started coming over. And English people brought a lot of disease and a lot of people died, but they also brought fruits and horses. This country never had horses. They brought horses and cows and pigs.
Christianity. I mean, these people were savages. These people didn't have, no respect for life.
They cut each other's heads off. They scalped each other. There's fights with the Aztecs. Look, you could look at history all you want, and if a city or something wants to change it, fine. But you're going to have a problem with the president because he put out a proclamation this morning. And you need to go look on the White House website, Proclamation on Columbus Day 2020. I'm just going to read the open and the close. More than 500 years ago, Christopher Columbus' intrepid voyage to the New World ushered in a new era of exploration and discovery. His travels led to European contact with the Americas, and a century later, the first settlements on the shores of the modern-day United States. Today, we celebrate Columbus Day to commemorate the great Italian who opened a new chapter in world history to appreciate his enduring significance in the Western Hemisphere. 3 tiny little boats, 50 feet long, 20 feet wide, over the ocean. Yeah, that's the flag on one of them.
Spanish flag, Spanish Italians.
The president goes through great history where the Italians were killed. We were viewed as black people, dark-skinned people. We were not white people by any means. We're still not. We got Middle Eastern blood, we got Sicilian blood, all of that, and you got to sign a thing in the census, non-Hispanic white. I'm not a non-Hispanic white, whatever that is.
Good, great point. Great point.
It's crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So you go through all that. If you want to have an argument about all this, that's fine. You don't just tear these things down. The president's tightening down. November 4th, if Biden's in, you watch every statue in this country. And here's how he concludes. Now, therefore, I, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, by virtue of the authority invested in me by the Constitution, do hereby proclaim October 12th, 2020 as Columbus Day. I call upon the people of the United States to observe this day with the appropriate ceremonies and activities. I also direct that the flag of the United States be displayed on all public buildings on the appropriate day in honor of the diverse history and all who have contributed to shaping this nation. Donald Trump stands strongly with the 20 million Italian Americans in this country.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. It's just that he talks, but coming to you come into these cities, there is no respect for anything American anymore. There's no respect. These cities are taken over by illegals, refugees. They're just a mess right now. And the sad part is we can't hit back. We can't do anything to people that are American here. And that's what's going on. That's why we need Donald Trump to send in troops into these cities, because this is war. This is no more, these cities are being taken over. And that's a strategy that they're using to eliminate religion, and freedoms of this
And
country
freedom,
were
yep.
built on.
Yep. Frank, we're going to have to let you go.
I know. I could all ramble all day.
We're going to bring you back, and I'll make one final point. When our parents or grandparents came over, it was all done legally. There was no illegal stuff. They went through Ellis Island. I went 2 years ago and walked down the stairs. They keep them there where my grandparents walked down, my aunts and uncles, a little tiny staircase. It said everybody from Italy and everywhere else came down these stairs, and everybody wanted to be an American. They never lost their Italian heritage and culture, but they wanted to be identified as Americans and learn English, critically important. And the Italians helped build this country at the turn of the century, being beat up by the Irish, had to resort to, people from Sicily helping.
New Orleans, they were massacred in New Orleans.
Yep. New Orleans, 17 of them hung. And right after that, 1871, I think it was Grover Cleveland, the president, said, hey, this is crazy. We got to recognize the Italian Americans as part of our culture. And we've come a long way, baby. We need an Italian president. Trump's probably the closest we have to an Italian.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, so, all right.
God bless
you
him.
Yep. Frank, stay in touch, stay safe, and keep that city on the right
I'm on
track.
him. Best I can do. And God bless you. Thanks for having me on.
Have a great day.
Good to see
Thanks.
you.
I love your
right.
2 New York stuff, though.
Frank Coconate.
On the
Great
boxes in
guy.
Ellis Island, the 2 New York.
The what?
The 2 New York. But they put on the names of the boxes, 2 New York.
Oh, right. To you, New York. Tony. Tony. Hey, Tony. Everybody was Italian. Everybody was. My grandfather, coming from Sicily, going to California. He goes, it's same climate, Mediterranean climate. When he got there and talking to the guy there, and Angelo Trento was his name, and where you going? He says, I'm going to California. He goes, they have earthquakes there. He goes, I'm not going to California. I'm not going to California. Because there's earthquakes in Italy and volcanoes. I saw Mount Vesuvius, Mount Etna, always erupting. So he stayed in New York. Otherwise, I would have been in California.
There.
We got another Italian name person coming up. Who's next with us?
We have Sue Trombino coming on. Sue, are you with us?
I sure am.
Good morning, Sue. So just by way of introduction, Sue is the founder and president of Women Impacting the Nation, and I'm proud to say that she's a dear friend, an incredible, vivacious woman who is making waves across the country and ensuring that people are educated and that they know what's at stake during this election. So tell us about what it is that your organization is doing and what are you focusing on?
Well, thanks for having me this morning. And yes, I am married to an Italian. So,
Trombino.
Yes, I love your show. And
where are you from, Sue? Where were you born?
Well, I was born in Caracas, Venezuela. So I am, I know I don't look, and I'm blonde hair, blue eyed, but my father's from northern Spain. So he's Basque. So, but anyway, so I was born in Venezuela, but anyway, lived all over the world, and then I came here to the United States and found me a real good Italian boy.
Who's a great guy, by the way.
Great
Michael.
guy.
So, but anyway, so I really enjoyed your segment before that because just to follow up on what you all were talking about is Americans. People. America's not perfect, but we are exceptional. And I always believe that every American should be made to live overseas for 1 year, not in Paris, not in London, not in Madrid, but go live where I've lived and you will come back here and kiss the ground you walk on. And it's just people need to really wake up and understand that we are privileged to be Americans. But anyway, but what we do at WIN, Anna and Tom, is that our mission statement really is that we educate and equip women and men with knowledge of God's truth about our faith, our family, and our freedoms. And then we help support those who take a stand for the Judeo-Christian principles upon which our country was founded. And so what we're doing right now, we've been doing a tour called Saving Our Republic, Ensuring Liberty. And just basically stirring the pot, getting people to think. And this election is the most important election of our lifetime. And it is no longer, when I talk to Christians, I tell them it's never been about the donkey or the elephant. it's always about the lamb. If you're not a Christian, but you're an American, then, it's really about being an American / patriot versus socialism, communism, and Marxism. And that's a fact. And so we're just out there trying to get people educated with truth and facts, not emotion, not conjecture, but just, really with truth, and not even our opinion, because we're all entitled to our opinion. We're just not entitled to our own facts. And when the vice president said that
Yes.
the other day, I said, hey, he's listening to me.
That's
Yeah,
right. He
listen.
quoted you.
Quoted me. Goodness gracious.
I've heard you say that many times. You also say something that frequently, and that is when you're in a debate or someone is questioning what the conversation, you always say, well, what does God say about that? So that's something that you frequently use.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's really about, if you're a Christian, or even, a Jew is, you go to the Torah, or, what does God say? What does God say about what we're talking about? And, God has lots of non-negotiables, but there are 3 that are non-negotiable. And that is life, that is marriage, and that is Israel. And so I've been talking a lot to pastors. That's what we've been doing. I've been helping Family Research Council out. You can go to frc.org, but there's a website. It's called prayvotestand.org, and it is phenomenal information. I've been trying to wake up the pastors, the rabbis, the priests when we talk, and because if we don't vote in, and normally with Women Impacting the Nation, we are a 501c3, and we don't tell people how to vote or who to vote for, but I ask people to look at the platform and what platform is closest to those 3 non-negotiables, and also what platform is for personal responsibility, for less government, so that the government doesn't tell you what you can and cannot do. Well, it happens to be the platform of the Republican Party. That's just the way it is right now. And so right during the day, I'm talking to pastors and asking them to be watchmen and to sound, because they're supposed to sound the alarm, and to tell their congregations to wake up and to get involved in their civic duty. And, unfortunately, we have Christians or people that say, oh, I don't want to get involved in politics. Well, if you don't want to get involved in politics, I'd like to know what Bible you're reading, because if you're talking about Jesus or Yeshua in the New Testament, he spoke to the Sadducees and the Pharisees. And who were they? They were the government. And so everybody has a worldview. It's either biblical or pagan, and somebody's worldview is going to win out. And right now, unfortunately, the Christians and our Judeo-Christian thought process is we've compartmentalized that, and everything has become very emotional and very very divided because of that, instead of thinking about, well, yes, what does God say about these different topics? What are the issues? And if we if we don't keep in our current president, we are in real deep trouble, because he is the most pro-life president we've ever had. He is the most pro-religious freedom president we've ever had. He's the most pro-Israel president we've ever had. And he's the most pro-American president we've ever had. And those are facts. And so, the Lord says you will know them by their fruit.
Mm-hmm.
This is not about personality. This is about platform and principle. And, anyway.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sue, for coming on. There's so much to talk about. We hope that you'll join us again in the not too distant future. We keep saying we need to have a 3-hour show because there's so much to talk about. And you are just so versed in history and religion, and you have so much to share. So we need to have you back on again so we can hear more from you. So thank you so much for joining us. And I know I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, guys. And just remember, when we show up, we win. So get out there and WWNN.org. And God bless you guys for what you do.
Okay, God bless you and everything that you do.
Sue Trombino.
She's amazing. Yeah, great lady.
She's from Caracas.
Yeah, she
Think
knows
she's a
what
spy? Think
socialism
she's
is
a
all
think
about.
she's a commie spy.
Yeah, she's trying to save this country,
trying to
save
save
the
the country,
world,
huh?
save us. Yeah, and she does. She goes out there in her van. She has a bus that she converted
Yep.
and
Big motorhome.
a motorhome.
40-foot
And she drives
motorhome.
it,
Yep,
and she
yep.
drives it.
She drives it all over
She
the
travels all over the country, and that's her passion. She knows she really truly is saving the country. So check out Women Impacting the Nation. And I think we have another guest coming on. This is a busy day for us. Busy
Well,
morning.
before we do that, it's so busy. We haven't even mentioned the news of the day. The news of the day at 9:00 this morning, East Coast time. Amy Barrett, her judicial hearings were beginning.
Today.
We'll be
Mhm.
reporting on those
4 days,
regularly.
4 days of questioning.
And you can't. I mean, if you didn't believe in God, you got to believe in God, because for the next 3 weeks, that is going to suck all the oxygen out of the news cycle.
Mhm.
They're going to pound her. Every time they pound her, they being the Marxists, more votes for Trump.
Yeah.
Every time they go up there, her family, or law, whatever, more votes for Trump, more votes for
Right.
Trump.
Well,
Right.
And also, 20 years ago today, in Yemen, we had a ship, the USS Cole, import, going to fuel up, and Al Qaeda sent out a raft and blew a hole in the side,
Mhm.
almost sunk it. 17 sailors died, and that started a more intensive look at Al Qaeda. And then that was October of 2000.
Mhm.
Just
October 12th.
a little over a year later, a little less than a year later, Al Qaeda hit Trade Center. That whole $1 billion in damage,
Mhm.
17 soldiers. That was 20 years ago today.
What's interesting is it's still an active ship. It's
Yeah,
still
they fixed
floating
it.
around, and they have a little walkway where they have the Hall of Honor of the 17
Oh, really?
that died on the ship. And I just saw a whole big special on it. It was actually really fascinating. And
Mark's a Navy guy. You've been
yeah,
on
go-
ships,
yeah.
right?
Anchors away, my boy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Anchors away. All right, what do we got next? What's going on? 9:45 in the morning. Tom Trento, Susie Gold.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, on the confirmation thing, heard a little update over the weekend, which is kind of cool. Lindsey Graham came out and said that they're going to have the vote on the Tuesday before the election for the Supreme Court.
Wow.
So 1 week before, they're going to have her nominated.
Oh, my word. They're
not
going to go
nominated, but
nuts.
in the job.
They're going to go nuts.
He's still
Hey,
president.
We got to
you
pray.
know?
We got to pray for the safety of Amy Barrett.
Yeah.
These people are crazy. They killed.
No, they're nuts, Tom.
They killed
They're
an
nuts.
American pro-Trump patriot in Denver over the weekend. Very big
You
story.
don't hear about it
Well,
though in the
well,
news.
No, you don't hear about that in the news. You don't hear about 30,000 cars, Latinos for Trump in
Yeah.
Miami. And you don't hear about the event that we went to last night with our intrepid reporters, Michelle and Karen. Is she with us?
Michelle is on. Yeah. Good morning, Michelle. You got to tell us about this event yesterday with 30,000 cars.
No, that wasn't the 30,000.
When was that was
That was
another time?
Saturday.
Oh, Saturday was 30,000. So tell us about the event that you went to.
Happy Columbus Day. Shout out to all the Italians and
Woo!
Michelle Terris reporting in for the Tom Trento show on the road. Can we make this quick because I'm missing the show?
Oh.
We went to the rally, represented the Tom Trento show yesterday. It was incredible. Don Jr. was on fire. Fighters for Trump with Jorge Masvidal. It was just a great room full of energy. One of the takeaways was Don Jr. comparing himself to Hunter Biden. That was great. It was amazing. So we really enjoyed it and got fired up. He just was so real, like his dad. I couldn't love Donald Trump anymore.
What was the name of the event?
It was the Trump victory. They put on this event, and the fighters for Trump, fighters against socialism. Fighters against socialism. It was
Fighters Against Social. I think we have a short clip with Don Jr. speaking. This clip to Hunter Biden. He was contrasting himself, saying, "If I did all these things, yeah, I'd be in jail, but Hunter Biden gets a pass. Let's just see listen to Donald Trump. We'll do a couple of seconds.
She did that from Eastern Europe. She was Czech. And back in communist Czechoslovakia days, she happened to be.
Can't hear it.
Can't really hear it.
No. We got to get you a microphone. No, cut it off.
I can hear it.
Oh, you heard it, Mary?
Yeah, you can hear
Yep,
it.
I'm hearing it.
It's just bad audio.
Yeah,
it's
it's
studio audio.
We got to get Michelle and the
Mhm.
crew. We got to get you a microphone where you run right up there and put it right on the podium and get that beautiful sound. But we can hear it. Doesn't play that well over the radio.
We're little Trentos in training.
Yeah, there you go. Right, we'll get you going. You have a chance to talk to anybody? Were you wearing any clothes that had any messages? What was the deal?
Well, we went in with our the Jexit gang, and we got so many people wanting to take photos with us. We were like little celebrities. Why? Because they recognized the logo, and the main question was to both myself and Karen, why do Jews continue to vote Democrat? So that was
Rabbi Hauser says they're stupid.
Yeah, Rabbi Hauser. Yeah. Well, you know,
yeah, but you're making a huge difference. You know, here you are, you know, there are many, many, many Jews exiting the Democrat Party because of you, because of the work you're doing, and because of education. And, you know, so what you've done is you know, you're created it's a whole force, you know, that and this whole movement. So, you know, to make people think, you know.
We find that our voices, because we're not silent, empower other people. Even if they can't come out and say anything, they're afraid. They at least know that there's like-minded people like you guys, like us, standing for the Judeo-Christian world belief. And we are empowering them to not be alone, not feel isolated. You know, they're afraid they're going to lose their family like I did and their friends. So it's important that we never be silent.
Right. And be given the words, you know, to have the dialogue, not a fight, not a, you know, just the conversation. And what you've been so good at is to relay information so that we have the knowledge in order to have that dialogue. You know, so that's been extremely valuable. And, you know, look, you and I know well, we're both Jewish, and I woke up, you know, before Obama, that there was something wrong. There was something going on that was wrong. You know, I was raised to be a Democrat. My mother served in the Navy. As a Jew to be in the Navy was unusual. She had a lot of anti-Semitism. And, you know, it was like a Democrat was somebody who helped the neighbor. It was like a Jewish concept, you know, that we help one another. But it's better to make sure that someone knows how to fish and not give them the fish. And it's changed. The Democrat Party, and as you know as well as I do, and those all of our listeners, you know, you've got to be very cognizant of the fact that the Democrat Party today is really, it's a communist party. And that's the difference. And it's being able to have that conversation that that the Republican Party is more pro-Israel, help the Jewish people more than any other party in the history of this country. So you think kudos to you, your team, and going out there and making sure that people are educated so that they do vote wisely. And just like MATA is behind me, is Make America Think Again. And there's something that Mark said that a while back, it was years ago, that he had said to me, and I'll never forget, quote unquote, I trust in the American people. And that's why I know that Donald Trump is going to win this election.
Yay. Amen. Amen. All right, Michelle, before we let you go, you got to do the, we're training her now in the field and now even for the radio. You got to do the call sign, WWW. You can just say WNN 1470 and then say the time. Okay.
The time?
You're listening to Michelle Terris.
You're listening to Tom Trento on WW what?
NN.
WWNN.
1470 AM.
You're great.
1470 AM. I'm fired.
And what time is it?
9:53 in the morning.
And it's 9:52 and 49 seconds.
I can call it on the helicopter. I can't call on the radio.
She flies helicopters, by the way.
We need to get her a
Hey, I still-
teleprompter.
Where's my helicopter right at?
Well, yeah, when
Seriously.
you're going to be
Yeah, where's my helicopter
representing
right at?
the radio show, you probably should know the name of the show in the future. So
All I do is walk around, Tom Trento, Tom Trento.
all right. Hey,
All right.
good seeing you.
right.
Real
Thank
quickly, tell everybody about the next Jexit rally that is in process.
Right now, we're working on the venue, Broward County. We're going to be working with the Broward County State Committee woman, Michelle Merrill. We are going to turn Broward red. We're going to be the last hurrah. So we're working on the venue, and we will get back to you with the details.
All right.
Excellent.
They
All
want a complete duplicate of the Spiritual Battle for America that we had in Palm Beach. They loved it.
That's great. And all the Broward listeners, and actually anybody, you're going to want to stay tuned to know when that event will be, because that is unbelievable to be in such an enthusiastic group, and be a part of that is something everybody's going to want to be a part of.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Michelle.
later.
Take care. Stay safe.
Bye.
What I was saying earlier, the 3rd, so the Tuesday before is the 27th. So the 27th, they're going to have the vote for Amy Barrett. But before I get to that, yeah, Michelle and Karen went and covered the event for us. They sent a bunch of video and audio back. Little rough to hear with the ambient sound, but they did a great job. So we can send them out in the future to other places.
Yeah.
What I was saying about Amy Barrett is, the guy got shot yesterday in Denver. Very sad situation. The shooter, who said he was a security guard hired by 9 News, which was, I think, the ABC affiliate in Denver, turns out he doesn't have a security license, and turns out he's got a strong affinity and affiliation with leftist organizations, Occupy Wall Street, Antifa, Black Lives, and he shot the guy point blank range, shot him right in the head and dropped him, killed him. The guy, they got in a dispute, and the guy had mace, and the shooter was very aggressive. So the guy got his mace out, and before anything could really happen, he got shot and killed. So my point is, Amy Barrett now is an individual who can shape this country for the next 30 years. I don't put anything past the left. She better have a very good security detail protecting her through all of this, because these people are going crazy. Their heads are exploding. Their utopian view of a reconstructed America in the image of Karl Marx that I referred to in the beginning is going out the window. Do you think they believe they got a 14-point lead in the country over Trump?
Nope,
I mean,
they don't
how
believe it.
insane is that?
And I'd like to highlight something Susie said earlier about they're not liberals anymore. The liberals, they're not about freedom of speech, freedom of this. They're about control. They're about the controlling and suppression and silence. 180 opposite during the JFK day. So if you're still a JFK Democrat out there, go over to the Jexit party, or just get out. Just get out. They're about control, subjugation, and persecution. They're not about liberal freedoms anymore.
Yeah, you got two people. You got two people to vote for. One loves America, thinks it's good. One is managed. Don't miss that. Managed by a party that hates America and thinks it's bad and needs to be remade. Something like where Sue comes from in Caracas, Venezuela. Anyways, why don't you say goodbye, Susie Gold? We got to get out of here.
Bye, Susie Gold.
What do we got tomorrow? What do we have tomorrow? Real fast?
Tomorrow we have a great show too. You've got to tune in.
Sam
we
Sorbo.
have Sam Sorbo and Paula Hansberger. Oh, she's somebody you're going to hear
You're gonna
from.
love
Talk
her,
about
yeah.
Venezuela, talk about Nicaragua, those that know what socialism is, and will share with us.
Bye-bye.
So, bye.